That one's bigger. How's it going, everybody? It's 10:40 and it is Sunday. I'm gonna be fishing today. I got Brisket and Harley with me, and I was gonna do popping corks and live shrimp in a Carolina rig, which I'm gonna sort of show you guys how to do all that stuff, and they didn't have live shrimp. So I got Mud Minnows. In the past, I don't think you get as much of a bite off of the Mud Minnows because everything eats shrimp, right? But everything eats shrimp, so you're gonna catch catfish, croakers, you know, anything like that, puffer fish, you know, just the craziest stuff. But Mud Minnows seem to be a little bit more specific for sport fish that we look for in shore, you know, redfish, trout, flounder. So hopefully this works. I've never tried them on popping cork. I've always caught stuff on Carolina rigs, so I'm gonna do both today. I've got a couple oyster beds back here in Shad Creek that I want to try out. This one's pretty close to these houses. I'm sure people can figure that one out if they need to. So we're gonna get to it, and if that doesn't work, I got a couple sand fleas. I'll try and catch some sheep's head, but I've been wanting to try this. I wish I had the shrimp, but we'll figure it out. Harley and Brisket are excited, and hopefully we catch some stuff off of the live bait, because I don't usually do live bait that much. So see you guys soon. All right, something I didn't say is I probably did say that. It's 10:40. It is gonna be high tide, probably around 1. So I'm here a little bit early, but like I said, I wanna fish while the water's moving. I'm just gonna show you guys the simple Carolina rig, right? I've got the 2.0, it's the owner SSW. You can do more leader line than this, but for this, it's gonna be, you know, that's probably 1.5 feet, close to 2 feet. I don't even know what size weight that is. It's probably a 1/2 ounce if I could guess. And I'm just saying the leader line portion because I already had that leader line on something yesterday, so I'm just gonna use the same one instead of wasting gear. And then obviously just the swivel is what's connecting the braid to the fluoro. And then I've got one of those plastic beads. It just sort of helps the braid not get tore up right there. And then sometimes your lead weight will actually split too with the swivel whenever it's rubbing on it. So not split all the way, but it like sort of mushrooms down there. And then as far as the popping cork goes, they got all different types of popping corks. But I don't fish popping corks that much, so I just got a couple in my bag. This is a weighted one. This is just, you know, the pop is gonna mainly go off of the noise that it makes running across the top of the water with that indent right there. And some of them have longer, they got weights on the bottom, everything like this. This is a weighted one. The weight is in the cork itself. As you can see, I've used it a lot. It's lasted me a while, but I just go with the cheaper ones. They got ones that are $15. They got ones that are $4. You know, do I think it matters that much? It probably does if you're doing it all the time, but for me, it doesn't, right? The only purpose of this thing is floating my bait. And then I've got my leader line, which this one's got a little bit more, probably closer to 3 feet. I think the Carolina rig doesn't matter as much, the leader line length, because the weight's gonna sit, the bait's gonna go where it needs to go, depending on how much line you let out. But for this, the amount of line is going to matter, because this is what's gonna put the bait how far in the water column we want, right? So I just know about how deep it is over there. It's probably about 4 feet deep. I want it about 1 foot off the bottom, maybe closer, maybe even drag the bottom, but I don't want it getting hung up. And then again, I got that 2-0, so 2-aught owner SSW. Trying these hooks out. I haven't tried them before. They're a little bit more expensive, but I've heard some very good things about them. So hopefully they last longer. I was told that the mustads that I'm using, yeah, I like those ones. They're good. But I've been breaking a bunch of them. So if I've been breaking a bunch of those, maybe I'll pay a little bit more and these won't break whenever they're not breaking when I'm fishing, like catching the fish. They're bending when I'm taking them out of the fish's mouth, and this is sheep's head too, by the way, so they're a little bit hardier, and then, or they'll break coming out of the sheep's head mouth, so it just sort of stinks. But we're gonna try these out, give it a go, see what happens. All right, hopefully next time I see you guys, we are catching a fish, or I'm showing you guys me catching a fish. Later. I lied. The next thing you guys are gonna see is me hooking up a mud minnow. Some people do one lip, I do both. But there's the mud minnow. He's hooked up in the SSW, top to bottom, bottom to top, whatever. They usually stay on pretty good and they usually last a while. So this is the one on the Carolina rig. I'm just gonna throw this out and let it sit while I'm fishing for stuff with the popping cork. So I'm gonna throw this one up. Geez, he's got all sandy. I'm gonna throw this one up on the bank over here. Then I'm gonna let the popping cork go off the oysters. So we will see what happens here. I hope this works out. And then I'm gonna do the same sort of rigging for the popping cork, just so you guys are aware. Also, these mud minnows are slippery, so you really gotta get a good grip on them. Just letting you know, mullet, they're slippery, but mud minnows are probably the slipperiest bait I've used, unless you're using some sort of live squid or eel or something. So, all right, see y'all. Well, and there goes one of my expensive hooks. How's it going?
Caught a bunch of fish right there over the years, man.
Right here?
Yeah.
This is my...
Big ass oyster bar from about where your bobber is.
Yeah, I've...
All the way back to the left, and then it drops off on a little ledge. Right
Yeah,
there.
there's that little piece of whatever it is right there too. I've caught a bunch of reds. I usually fish low tide. This is my first time trying the popping corks, so...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, trying the popping corks right here.
I've caught quite a few sea bass right there, too.
Really? Be careful with that. You know, straight ahead of you, there's that dang...
Pump?
Yeah. What'd you usually use over here?
More often than not, mud minnows, but for the sea bass and stuff, it's been like shrimp and dead shrimp, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I got mud minnows today. We'll see what happens.
Yep. Good luck, man.
You too.
We're just going right around the corner.
If I was a betting man, I'd say redfish on the Carolina rig, and if a trout wants to eat, probably gonna be off that popping cork. Pretty dang quick right there. Looks like a little trout. Little red. Man, what did I literally just say? Little rat, but still. Pretty guy. Mud Minnow Carolina rig. Literally second it hit the water. Harley, don't eat that. I'll give you guys your kisses. Okay. Oh, that's very nice, huh? Very nice. There you go, little rat red. Off the mud minnow. Get him back in there. See what we can get. What's cool about this is I still got my dang mud minnow. Just gonna rehook him and see what I can do. There's gotta be some more over there. seconds after I put it down. Got to be another little red. Another rat, yep. So there might be a little honey hole over there, huh? Not complaining about the SSW. This guy's got some parasites on him. But cool. Redfish after redfish, you know. Can't complain. He got my mud minnow though, so. Red City over there, huh? Second that thing went down. That was a little bigger. Jeez. Whew. 3 reds on the old mud minnow. Carolina rig. That might be the bait for the day, or the rig for the day. I've always been a Carolina rig guy. I don't know. Jig head probably worked pretty good right here too. Another little guy, but man, they're over there and they're eating. I'm getting a hit, I think. That one's bigger. Just as you want to leave, you know what I mean? It's always like that. Not too much bigger, but oh man. Actually, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. 4th rat of the day. Hey, you know, everybody gets their kisses. Come on. Oh yeah, that's why your breath smells like fish, Brisky. Where'd he go? All right, pulling up to the next oyster bed. Yes, I did catch 4 rat reds over there, but I think we can be catching more fish, and I wanted to try this one too. So this one actually has an oyster bed over here and an oyster bed over there on the corner. If I can try and position us where we can hit both, that would be cool. All right, on to the next oyster bed. Pulling up now. Hopefully we get into something. Well, I just lost another Carolina rig. I lost everything on it, so I'm gonna try and fish this oyster bed. All right, I'm in Shad Creek. I got a mud minnow off the back, Carolina rig. Everybody knows this dock, whatever. I guess I'll try and catch some trout off the front or something. See what happens. Been having not the greatest luck, so hopefully something turns around. We'll see you here soon. Didn't even know I was on. Fat trout. Biggest one I caught in a while. Get down, brisket. Nice. I don't know how big he is, but he's definitely a keeper. Trout. Almost 17.
Good luck, man.
You too. All right, well, what do you do when you're not catching fish? I'll tell you what you don't do. You don't sit here all day. Maybe you do. I'm not gonna do that today. I'm gonna try and go maybe catch some sheep's head. Maybe I'll go on the docks up there. I got some mullet, dead ones. I got the sand fleas. Might as well use them. We'll see what I decide here soon. Probably not gonna stay out too much longer though. Yeah, the dogs look fine. We'll see what happens. Well, hopefully it's not permanent, but my other camera just stopped working, so it's like not working on battery power, but it'll work if it's plugged into something, so I'm gonna have to figure that one out. All right, thanks for watching until this point. At the end there, one of my cameras stopped working. It's like working whenever it's plugged into a power source, but it won't work off battery. I already talked to Insta360. Sent in for another warranty claim. Sort of sucks, but at least they're doing something for me about it. Next, I'll talk about the Carolina rigs. Obviously, they were working pretty good. I've always had more luck with Carolina rigs, especially redfish, probably because they're sitting on the bottom the way their mouth is and the way they feed. As far as the popping corks, I didn't catch anything on it, but I would still like to try again whenever I can get my hands on some shrimp. And it really just depends on the oyster bed, obviously, where they're going to be and when. You could tell the bite slowed down for me after I caught those few at the beginning. So even with live bait, fishing can still be a little bit rough, but I did still catch some stuff. Then I just stayed mobile, moved around, made sure I was doing different things and not getting stuck in the same habits. All right, see you guys next time.